The final episode of Season 2 is now available. In addition, despite the fact that we have particularly intriguing topics to discuss, it did not match my expectations. While I'm not saying it's terrible, I do acknowledge that they could have done better. Therefore, let's see what we have. How about we start with Boyd and Jade's, since that is where the episode starts. Boyd has no options and is powerless. He seems to be going insane at this point because he doesn't know, which is understandable. He has made a sincere effort to deal with people since the beginning, and he also puts his life in extreme danger in an effort to get answers. I must give it to him. But here is the problem. We discovered that he was also the cause of the extreme deterioration. In this episode, he makes the decision to take Sarah to the ruin in the hope that she will hear or see something. He really doesn't. Sarah says she heard the music and knows the music box is close by. However, no music box can be seen. Sarah's situation has really piqued my interest. How does she relate to this location? Why does she have the ability to hear things that others do not? We don't really know anything about her relationship with the town, and I was unable to say whether we'll any time concentrate on that. In any case, she additionally says she hears them shout. I think she implies Julie, Marielle, and Randall in light of the fact that we can see that they are as yet alive and shout now and again, despite the fact that they appear to be lethargic. Let me now concentrate on Sarah's experience, which I'll discuss in greater detail in the near future. She tells Boyd in a curious way that it is laughing at you for releasing it. Therefore, do we mean a demon? What's Boyd's chuckle? What did Boyd liberate? In spite of the fact that I don't know if so, we truly do realize that he got back to the town with worms installed in his skin. The song that comes from the music box may be what Boyd has released. When it was previously in the dungeon, Boyd touched it. In this manner, I accept that his communication with it brought about something that we have close to zero insight into. Let's wrap up this one, okay. This will be our introduction to the other characters' plots. Boyd feels that the light he brought to town could take him to the prison and stop the music box, since, supposing that he doesn't, individuals will wind up like the cicada casualties. Because he brought it with him to town, Boyd remembers this. He enters the dungeon as expected after lighting the torch. Then we see Randall, Marie, and Julie chained to the wall, just like Martin and the other two skeletons. Despite the fact that they appear to be in pain, I don't believe they are aware of their condition. Similar to Martin, he was awake and talkative despite being in great pain. Yet again, at any rate, Boyd sees the music box, and we see Abby telling him not to obliterate it as he prepares to do as such. Is there something that imitates Abby in order to direct Boyd's actions? I truly don't have the foggiest idea what Abby's arrangement is. To me, that seems possible. I don't know why it always tries to stop him but not the others. Luckily, Boyd disregards her and annihilates the music box, all things considered. In this manner, our cicada casualties are presently freed. Now I have a question. For what reason didn't Martin simply advise Boyd to quit playing the music and Martin could kill him? Is this because he knew it was too late? There are a lot of questions I have about this show, and I need answers. How about we figure out what has been going on with Jade at this point? He is one of my #1 characters in this show, and I have hardly any familiarity with you. In this episode, even Jade seems desperate. He has recently been constantly promoted as someone who can find a solution or a way out. Nevertheless, he now just seems devastated by the events of the past. However, he does not give up and decides to enter the tunnels on his own. I love him in spite of the way that he is most certainly silly. He has a vision of the yelling puppet in the tunnels earlier. You may recall Victor's fear when he saw this puppet as well. In the future, I predict that we will see this puppet more often. Additionally, it certainly appears to be scarier than the monsters that roam the tunnels, may I add. Jade finds himself in the middle of nothing when the monster children appear. 6 children keep repeating the word angry as they lie on large stones. We heard this word earlier when the kids were around Tabitha, but we still don't know what it means. Do you have any speculations regarding that? I sincerely don't. This might be some out-of-date language, and it could mean help me or something like that. What do you think? At this point, Jade appears perplexed. When he looks up, the sign is also visible. I believe that each of these is a significant clue. Eventually, they will all appear to be legit, in spite of the way that we can't assemble the pieces. I absolutely trust so. It would be a huge disappointment if that weren't the case. As of now, we ought to examine the huge event of the episode. One of the characters made it in the end. Yes, Tabitha is my reference. She tells Jim everything she learned from Victor and decides to find a way to the top. She wants to save the monster kids and end everything because her daughter is slowly dying and she can't wait. She was completely unaware that Boyd would save Julie. After that, she goes up to Victor and asks for his help pointing the way. We discover that the entrance to the beacon is through the container tree. Accordingly, he drives Tabitha to the tree. He also prepared a bag for her. Isn't he precious? After she says her farewells to Victor, we can see that. She returns to the forest after entering the tree. However, the door is right there this time, so it's different. Finally, we find ourselves in this perplexing location, which is very similar to Tabitha's ideal. Additionally, the cards are in the same spot. Isn't it odd that she had previously seen it? Tabitha makes her way to the top, where a white-clad boy appears. He pushes Tabitha down the beacon and says, "Please accept my apologies. This is the main way." When she wakes, we notice that she is covered in cuts and bruises and lying on a hospital bed. She has, however, left the town and is still alive. I've always held the view that the beacon is the only way out of this hated town. Nevertheless, I had not anticipated such an operation. Fundamentally, was it that straightforward? Is it necessary for people to simply pass through the container tree in order to be moved by Kid in White? Does that suffice? Overall, Tabitha could now go to the town and help everyone escape. Doesn't that make sense? Time to reflect. I recall Boyd finding a piece of paper with a date on it when he broke one of those jugs. What if Tabitha wasn't the only one who was able to flee this town successfully? When someone manages to escape, a bottle appears on the tree. What's that? I can only come up with this theory because I have no idea what those dates all mean. Have you any ideas? Another thing that confuses me is the possibility that Tabitha did not escape. I don't figure it should be this basic. Additionally, who knows for sure? It very well may be an alternate time or an alternate variant of this town. It's possible that Tabitha has escaped from the lighthouse in a vision or dream and is actually stranded there. Last but not least, keep Victor's claim that he found his mother's body near the bottle tree in mind. Moreover, he thinks she gave before going into the tree. Consider a situation in which this is not the case. Imagine a scenario in which Tabitha's encounters and Victor's mom's passing were brought about by Kid in White. In the third season, we might see Tabitha's body close to the container tree. Regarding the scene in the medical clinic, it could very well be her creative mind or something similar. How do you feel about the conclusion of Time 2? Did you enjoy watching it? In the third season, what do you anticipate will take place? Examine in the remarks segment underneath. If you watched the video, share it with your friends by clicking the like button. You can also subscribe to my feed to receive additional recordings similar to this one. I value your attention.